So, hello everyone. Wishing you a pleasant evening. I am Prashant Kumar Tiwari and I will be your host for today's webinar on behalf of Digisaksham. Let me send my greeting to all of you for attending today's webinar. Thank you for being here. Let me introduce to the organization first. Digisaksham is an initiative of SEMS Group that have developed content over 300 courses in multiple languages, which range from 4 hours to 6 months in various sectors of IT, BFSI, retail, entrepreneurship for all age group, from school children, youth professional, and senior citizens. DG Saksham also conducted more than 100 webinars, 10 FDPs, and workshops, 6 international conferences. DG Saksham impact more than 15,000 plus lives through various webinar, conferences, workshop, and seminar across the globe. Moving towards the today's topic, Industry 5.0, the Wasteless World. Managing the waste is essential in today's society due to increase in population. The generation of waste is getting double day by day. Moreover, the increasing in waste affected the lives of many people. To enlighten us through this topic, we have Mr. Rada. He is experienced business professional equipped with 30 plus year of rich business experience. He started his business career as a steel factory worker. He invented and developed a systematic waste prevention methodology called industrial upcycling and started to implement it in the real business and industrial environment of Crecia. The beginning of Operation Industry 5.0 and industrial upcycling prevention already more than 1 million ton of products become waste. Mr. Rada is not only an inventor, he developed, implement and share his knowledge through education worldwide to fulfill his aim to build a wasteless world. Mr. Rada is the author of more than 3,000 articles, blogger and network. He was rewarded as best Waste Prevention Company in 2016, the CEO of the year 2018, Waste Prevention, Best Industrial Upcycling Company 2019, and Waste Prevention Project Innovator of the year 2020. And more than that, Mr. Rada is a public speaker, delivering his speech at events, seminar in school, universities. His wake-up call leave a deep impression in the audience, being delivered physically on the stage or delivered through any of the online media. In his speeches, he delivers insight into his own work, development of Industry 5.0, realized projects. Since 2015, his role as a keynote speaker enriched more than 50 events in several countries, including France, Sokovia, Latvia, India, Malaysia, Austria, and many more. His dedication to deliver the result makes him a part of many projects, changing the business environment not only on a local but on a global scale. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Prashant. And I'm honored to be on your platform because you already changed the life of so many people through education. And this is exactly the way how we do it as well in Industry 5.0. So as it was mentioned, the name of the keynote today is The Wasteless World with Industry 5.0. And as it was said, my name is Mike Rada. I am human. And this is the only title which you will find on my business card. And at the same time, I am the founder of Industry 5.0. So I will speak about 9 years of my journey in which I built the Wasteless World. But before we start, let me ask you 2 questions. The first one is who we are, because we have many titles. We have managers, presidents, chairmen. We are students, producers, teachers, fathers, and mothers. We have collected many titles during our lives, but with all of them, we frequently forgot one, that we are human beings, living ones, not like this man on County Art of Pilsen Brewery. And if we know who we are, let me ask you the second question. Where do we live? Because we live in beautiful cities like Rublet, like Pilsen, like Paris, Brussels. We live in beautiful cities which we fill with trash. We work in factories which produce in one day more trash than a city in a month. We produce products which frequently, before reaching the end user, become trash as well. And we store them in big metal houses filled with air, and we call for more big metal houses to be built to store our waste. And at the end of our shift, we leave and go home. We leave next to the output of our production. And we arrive home, and maybe we do realize that something what was called food before, it's called biowaste today. And we look at the red sky above our heads and we ask ourselves, where do I live? I asked that a decade ago when I realized there is something wrong with the world of industries. And I decided to change it because there was nobody in the world who ever tried to prevent waste happen on industrial scale. I was not aiming to make a new fifth industrial revolution because every revolution starts with killing. And that's not the way how I would like to change the world. So instead of that, I started the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. And it is based on the principles of industrial upcycling methodology, which is the only in the world which can prevent waste happen on industrial scale. It identifies and prevents 4 types of waste: physical, social, urban, and process waste. And machines, technology, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, IoT, all are tools, but not the rules. A human and humanity is not the cheap labor force in Industry 5.0. It's not just a consumer or IP address. I built everything on following 3 principles which must be applied in every single project: transparency, profit sharing, and efficiency. And we speak the language of efficiency, which is not English, Hindi, Czech. No, it is the language which will be the same understood by your parents and your children, so as you. The permanent change is part of Industry 5.0, and we achieve it through the power of touch, which is a special tool which we apply to our work. And Industry 5.0 deliver results first, then ask for the payment. Industry 5.0 was born on December 1st, 2015, in this office from which I'm speaking to you. It's 120 years old building, serving great today as well. And it is time to look at the global perspective with Industry 5.0. Systematic waste prevention would become standard, part of national legislation. The waste legislation must change and reviewed because at the moment it encourages increase of waste volumes, but instead of that, waste reduction must be supported. Local food, water, people and resources are preferred and supported. So we are localizing the processes, and dependence on loans and financial support from external sources will decrease, which will result in the allocation of internal financial resources that they will be and would become more transparent and efficient. And national debts will turn into national surplus, utilized for development of everyone in the country. Sharing benefits between the population will create strong and independent nations. And this is very important. Many people say automotive is the role model of industries. Okay, few months ago, I have seen this chart, which indicate the value of Tesla motor and all other car manufacturers. But if you compare it to Industry 5.0, you will see that they are just a drop of the real value of Industry 5.0, because this is the value of global waste prevention. And in 2019, this value was 475 trillion US dollars. But with the war in Ukraine, this number jumped to 1 quadrillion. There are 3 more zeros at the end. What is the reality? You know, I was born on Christmas Day, 1971. At that time, our planet was blue and was called blue marble. But in 2019, the planet was not blue anymore looking from the space. It was gray and brown because of the environmental damage of the smoke. But then something very strange happened. The blue skies show again. And in some destination, the people can breathe again. Unfortunately, they cannot go outside because they has been locked down by COVID. But a virus shows us that we can get our blue planet back. We are living on a planet around which we have been able to establish within few decades a global space landfill from space debris. There are more than 170 million pieces smaller than 10 centimeters, 750,000 pieces 10 to 30 centimeters, and 80,000 above 30 centimeters. And please, these are not my numbers. These numbers, so as this image, delivered NASA, the US space agency. We have created a landfill on our orbit, and what we do to the planet itself, we dig inside. Because there is only one criteria of success. This is more. No matter what you are speaking about, more cars, more houses, more money, more people, more businesses. Ask Fortune 500, ask Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. What is the reason they are at the top of the ladder? It's only more. We are living on a planet together with 7.9 billion people. Very soon, this year probably, we will reach the border of 8 billion people for the first time in human history. But very few of you probably know that in 1812, there was the first global population counting. They came to 1 billion. 100 years later, 1912, they came to 1.5, which means that in the last 100 years, despite of 2 world wars, 2 war pandemics, and more than 650 local war conflicts, there are 5 times more people living on a planet. And in 2050, some predicts there should be 11 billion people. And just now, please remember the last image. We are planting our food, but we will come to that. We are living in 206 countries, according to UN, currently 193. We are speaking 7,000 languages. We ride 1 billion cars. And despite of all of that, we let 9 million people dying hungry, despite the fact that every single day there is wasted 23.6 million tons of food and crop every single day. We let 800,000 people die thirsty every year, despite the fact that only California crude oil industry consume every single day more than 347 million liters of drinking water. We are planting our food to throw it away because the leaves are not green enough for the buyer in a chain store. We are putting our overproduction in a rivers and on a landfills not to spoil the market price. We are carrying our water in firefighting tanks, not knowing that the same amount of water is needed to produce just one and simple hamburger. And we do it on a planet on which one sip of water can save not 1, but 2 lives. We store our obsolete packaging in factories on a parking lots for employees, waiting till it becomes waste. We are running factories which walls filled with environmental certificates, and behind the walls, the same factory is creating a landfill. We are landfilling and destroying products which are not good for one client because of the QC control, but can serve well hundreds and thousands of others. We are listening to the words of World Bank, which predicts that till 2050, the waste volume should increase. In some destination, it should double. In the same report, the same organization says that almost everything can be reused or repurposed, but only 13.5% it is being reused and repurposed. And we have to look at these images where fresh bread is being stored in a garbage bins, not to be accessible to anyone else. This is why the waste industry became the 3rd most profitable industry in the world, following war industry and crude oil industry. We have made one big mistake in the past. We have built our future on a top of a pyramid, not understanding that the old Egyptian didn't build up the pyramid for the future, but they built it to bury dead body inside. And I realized that we cannot build our future on the top of a pyramid. And I spent years to develop another ground stone, more stable one, a ground stone which will stay stable even if the ground will shake. And this is 6R methodology used in every single project. How does it work? It's not easy. Because firstly, you have to recognize that something must not become waste. And trust me, that's a really not easy task if you throw the item in a garbage before. But the next step is even harder because you have to reconsider what you do with the item which you just stopped from becoming waste. But the third step is the reward. You probably fail for the first second, and maybe for the third time. But if you succeed, and you will, I can guarantee, you will start to change the world. And this is what Industry 5.0 do. It builds Wasteless World. To do all of that, I have spent 8 years to write something which never in a human history was written, because it was not. We are not living in an ice age. No, we are living in a waste age. This is why I spend so much time to write this one page, because nothing that can be used or utilized again must become waste. Everything must be considered primary, pre-waste existing resource and remain in the system. And the secondary use and utilization is not limited to a primary function of a product or material and can be executed by everyone, respecting the rules and regulations and safety conditions. Collecting, sorting, baling, transportation, and trade are not considered secondary utilization. And if not utilized on a primary location, it must be offered to others before being wasted. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no waste if we do not waste. And you will be maybe surprised. There is not a single legislation in the world defining how waste is being produced. So I spend my time and add this part because it is the definition of wasting. Why it's so important? Because wasting is a process in which a product or material of any kind and volume become waste. In fact, wasting is a system failure and must be prevented first without any limitation and legal restriction. Dear ladies and gentlemen, please understand that wasting is not a feature of a product or material. It is the result of human behavior, and single use is one of the most frequent types of wasting. This legislation was already translated in 40 languages, including Hindi, and we continue because it must reach everyone on the globe, every single person, every single company, because every single one of you can prevent waste happen. It's not about money. It's about changing of your mindset. I mentioned at the beginning the waste categories, and let's repeat it, because there is not only the physical waste, which everyone imagine when I speak about waste. This is something what you put in a garbage. But we have a social waste, which are people and animals that are not allowed to live meaningful life. And trust me, I don't think meaningful life for an animal is to be killed and eaten. There are many people in the world who are not allowed to live meaningful lives. There is a urban waste, empty buildings, flats, factories, malls, in the cities where the people have no roofs above their head. And there is a process waste which you will find in every factory, every company, every school, every bank, in every government. There is a lot of process waste in there, which can be prevented and which will help us to generate all what we need, not only to survive, but to live. There are many types of waste, but not at the original stage. This radish was not waste until we wasted. The wagons, the rail wagons are going empty usually one way. So the efficiency, loading efficiency of a rail wagon is about 55%. Same with a shipping container. We waste products which are not good for us, but can be good for others. And this is part of the social waste. People are sleeping in the streets in front of buildings which are empty. And this is not in an underdeveloped country. This picture I took 4 a.m. in my own city in the middle of Europe. And we can speak about digital waste. Can you imagine that only one of these 3 can deliver the power of touch? The other 2 are just digital avatars. You cannot touch them. Speaking about digital waste, we are having them, but very few understand that 85 to 90% of data stored in the data centers will be never used again. They are waste. Have you ever considered that 75 to 85% of the images which you take with your mobile phone, you will never look at again and they will block your space? They are waste. 95% of data taken by the scanning, by barcode scanner in warehouses, in shops, are wasted. 75% of the mobile phone users with a weather app in their mobile don't look outside of the window when they would like to know what is the weather outside, but look at the screen. And if there will be electric shutdown, a blackout, all data will be lost. And probably very few of you know that, for example, LinkedIn does not grant you access to data older than 24 months. Dear ladies and gentlemen, Industry 5.0 is the first industrial evolution ever led by man. It's a new mindset of people and businesses from wasteful to wasteless. It delivered the results without the need of capital investment, and it's based on the principles of systematic waste prevention, which every one of you can apply. It utilized the rich on-the-ground mines, and it's based on transparency, profit sharing, and efficiency. And please understand, Industry 5.0 is not a sales tool or a buzzword as some will try to tell you. No, Industry 5.0 is the evolution, and I am the founder and father. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the age of digitalization of our world. Our children are living in the times of digitalization of their education. And our leisure time was digitalized a long time ago. So it looks like that the only thing which is needed to have a perfect image of digitalized world is to digitalize the human. And if we do so, our world will look like this. And this is not a mistake, because data don't need any light. I realized that a decade ago, and I decided I do not want to live on a bottom of a black hole and leave it for the others. I decided to build Wasteless World. This is my home. And on January 1st, 2022, we have started with Industry 5.0 17 Challenge. This is a global recovery challenge in which we will recover the global society, economy, industry, and environment in 17 months' time, because COVID needs 17 months to put everything down. And I don't think humans are worse than a virus. And we do it with the power of touch. On this image, one hand is 99 years old, the second is 50, and we do it together. Dear ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rada. I'm human. And don't worry, I'm not alone. There are 100 gates to Wasteless World established in 100 destinations all around the globe. These are Industry 5.0 ambassadors helping industries, people, governments to implement the systematic waste prevention to be accessible for all. At the moment, we are accessible to 87% of global population. As you have seen, I have chosen my way. I have chosen what I would like to leave behind. Right now is your turn, and I hope you will join me. Dear ladies and gentlemen, you just gave me the most valuable asset which you have, your time. And I do believe it was for you, not wasted time. So thanks a lot. And I'm looking forward to your questions. And sorry, I have to take a sip of the water.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to move forward to ask the question as segment. Participant, if you have any question, you can type in the chat box. I will be reading them for you.
I know it's not easy to ask. You know, I deliver my keynotes for a long time, and these are so-called wake-up calls, so I know how you feel. But I know as well that in 5 minutes' time, the first question will come like a storm over you. And let me use this meantime, I just take a sip of my tea to really tell you that the future is in your hands. It will not be, never will be in your mouth only, but the hands are important. So is the brain. And if my students ask me, Mr. Rada, what can I do to fulfill my dream? My first advice is wake up. Because if you do not wake up, you will dream. You will continue sleeping. You will feel maybe good, but you will not be able to fulfill what you dream about. So it is important that we understand that all of us, we are able to change the future because we are the ones who build the future. I never did it with the money. I'm not a rich man, but I'm rich because of the connections of the humans around me, of people who understand what I do, who join me, who help me to build Wasteless World, because every single one of you, you are unique. There is not a single person which is same as you. And this is why, please, don't try to copy anyone. Be you yourself. Take what is the strongest part of you, what you love most, and apply it. Many people look at Europe, saying Europe is the role model or the US. Is not. I'm living here. And I can tell you, for example, from my government, you will learn that Czech Republic recycle 92%. The reality is just 12. What we are good at, it's wasting or putting the waste in the right garbage bin, but this is not recycling. This is just the first step. It's sorting, which is important, but it's not recycling. So don't let anybody to mislead you, because if recycling will not be a lie in the hands of waste industry, we will not have this trouble. But at the moment is used against the planet because we have more waste. In UK, in 30 years, increased the waste volume by 30%. Oh, sorry, by 80%. So let's us be careful. And time for your questions. If we will be in the same room, I will ask you, because as I said at the beginning, I love questions, but we are not, at least not in the physical one. So just ask whatever you want to know. I will try to answer.
So there is a question that how to utilize wastage of footwear.
It is quite interesting that generally the biggest share of waste in food is not on your plate, but 75% of global crop never reach a second stage of production. So we throw away 75% of everything what we grow. There can be much more people than 11 billion. What is wrong is the logistic, the connection, which means if you would like to reduce your own food waste, the part number one, improve your planning. It is really number one. If you will not buy too much, you don't have to throw away at the end too much. Buy what you need. Cook wasteless. There are many ways how you can cook food without any waste. I do it in my office. I have here an air fryer. That's one device. I have here a kettle, and I have here a rice cooker. And please understand, rice cooker is not only for cooking a rice. It's so great a device in which you can cook many dishes easily. And I have to do it within my work day. So I cannot spend too much time. And every time before you buy new food, put in your head the question, do I really need it right now? Or can I buy it tomorrow? Because we are living in the age where you can go to the shop next day. So we don't need to have rations for months. So I hope this answer helped a little bit.
So there is another question from Vandana ma'am side. Is zero waste is part of sustainability, or is zero waste society is possible?
For me, wasteless world is the aim. I know there will be a little waste at the end, but it's fine. I don't make the world perfect. I just make it wasteless. And if I slightly modify your question, and I am asked very frequently whether Industry 5.0 is part of circular economy or SDG goals. You know, SDG goals has been introduced 2 years after I started my job. And I think that it is more important to follow one aim instead of 17 goals, because the 17 goals do not work in reality. There is a lot of money wasted. And if we come back to the circular economy, I offer to the experts the cooperation, but you know, they concentrate a lot on the economical part. And to implement, for example, Industry 4.0, you need a lot of investment upfront. But if you want to implement waste prevention, you don't have to invest upfront any capital investment. You change your mind, because here is the portion which decided whether product or material will be wasted. It's not in the bank, or it's not anywhere else. And if somebody tells you that if you will have more money, you will be more sustainable, please try following. Take 5 coins, put a grain on it, put a water on it, and wait until it grows. And then do the same with a handful of soil. Then you will see what is really needed.
There is another question from Nick Williams. This is his first time, or he want to know about 6R methodology. How tremendous it will impact if this kind of practice will applied in all industry, and also about how feasible it is for us to.
This is a very good question, and I will show you something. Generally, I'm speaking from my office, which is built with 6R. Every single piece of my furniture, with one exception, which is my chair, was built by my hands from obsolete products from factories. So the answer is yes, you can apply 6R in every environment. It can be in a factory, it can be in a bank, it can be in a school. But everywhere some type of waste is being generated. And if you would like to change this, you have to recognize this waste first. And this is difficult. I will show you something. You see this? I take my computer. So you see this, it's quite a big. So I compare it to my head all the time to see how big it is. It's generally beautiful fashion accessory. And if I ask you what is made from, you will probably struggle. I will answer this. This is packaging, used packaging from potato chips. I think 12 potato chip bags, cleaned, cut, folded the origami way, and put together. And you see, it's not waste. This is the 6R applied in a real environment. Just one example. And what is interesting, this was done in disabled workshop. So with people with disability. This, Industry 5.0, so as the 6R, it does one thing. We don't develop new materials. Sometimes we do, but it's not so frequent. But what we do, we take something what is existing, take some other thing which is existing, and we combine it in a non-existing way. Origami was invented in Japan 400 years ago, but this type of packaging, it's about 30 years old or even 20. So the Japanese can do from paper, but they didn't have this material. So we combine it. And this is the way how you can apply the 6R, because the first R, recognize, trust me, it's really, really hard to recognize what is waste. When I began, I need months to find out that it is waste. Today, I need seconds. Reconsider, it's even harder because you see all the time in this product, you see this dirty potato chip bag. So you need to switch your mind. And again, at the beginning, I need months. Right now, seconds are enough because I'm doing one project after the other. And the third one, I love most. This is why all of you are invited to my office when you will visit Czech Republic, because this is a unique space on the planet. I have many visitors here from all around the globe, including India. All of them said the same. I never saw anything like that before. It's not perfect. It's done by my hands. I'm not skilled, but it is working. And I can be here. I can deliver the speech, and everyone who came here will leave the room with impressions that he will or she will never forget. So this is about 6R. You can apply it everywhere. It's easy to apply, but hard at the beginning because you have to recognize, then reconsider and make. But if you apply it first time, the next time you will be faster. The next time again and again, every single realization will change your brain a little bit, so you will get faster and faster. That's a big advantage.
So there is another question from SEMS group side. Wouldn't it be better to spend money of solving world hunger problem?
I understood the solving, but not the beginning. Sorry, the beginning of the question was?
Wouldn't it be better to spend money of solving world's hunger problem?
So world hunger can be solved. That's my answer in general. Elon Musk promised in November 2021 that he will invest 6.6 billion US dollars. He did not invest a single penny in it. But I can tell you, because it's about waste prevention, I will answer this question with a little different answer. When we spoke about this with the president of the Logistic Academy, he said, Mr. Rada, it's not that we cannot solve it. We have enough food, just on the wrong place, which means the logistics has to be improved. And if I know that in India will be the overproduction of onion, I know it before because I see how it's growing and so on. I can already before contact someone who will need the onion because I am not able to consume it. At the end of last year, there was overproduction of avocados in Australia. Majority ended on a landfill. Currently, there is a big issue with bananas in Uruguay because Uruguay plant a lot of bananas and is dependent. 85% of their trade is going to Ukraine and Russia. Both are closed. But not like with onion. You are collecting bananas very unripe. because of the long process of ripening and so on. So it's not so easy to take the unripe banana and it will not ripe anymore. So there must be another process how to process it. And there exists, like to turn it in a biochar or something like that.
So there is another question from Durgesh Nandini side. So she want to ask that what day-to-day practice do we use personally in our household to reduce wastage on daily basis?
There is one very interesting way how to get the feeling about the volume of waste and the way how the waste industry work with your brain. You probably have one waste bin in your room, in a classroom or at home. Please try following. Try to add one more. In 2 days, you will fill both. You can add one more. You can have 3 instead of 1. In few days, you will fill all 3. This is how our brain works. And just now came the most important part, most interesting part. Takes 2 of the 3 away. For 2 days, probably, you will have overfloating 1 garbage bin, but on the 3rd day, there will be less waste. And this is exactly how we should do it, how we should implement it at home. Because Industry 5.0 and waste prevention is not about waste management. We have to understand with every our movement, every our purchase, we should never forget that behind every new product, there is an unbelievable volume of waste. Everything what you buy new. So try to reuse things, try to offer it to someone else, try to work with someone together, because if you more families will work together, for example, for bio-waste, you can turn it to fertilizer. You have composting, you have vermicomposting, you can turn it to biochar. So even you can turn it to cooking gas to cook your food. This exists. And if you do together, then it's fine. Generally, please don't be proud on your waste. Shame for it. But don't shame until the level that you hide it somewhere. No, be open and transparent and let the others to take part. I know that very strong in India is the informal economy of the waste pickers. I know it. I spoke with them. And I will never forget the words which one of the ladies which spent all her life on a landfill together with her family. She was on such a webinar and there was a translating for her. And I asked her whether she liked it. And she said to me, and as I said, I will never forget her answer. Mr. Rada, I will do everything that my children do not have to live anymore a single day on a landfill. And that's the way. So she started the next day to prevent waste happen. And for her, was the landfill home. So this is how you should process at home. Please let everyone understand the waste prevention. Share this message. You will get it in PDF. You can ask the organizer. You will get it. Share it with the others. And together, all of us together, we will build Wasteless World.
So there is another question from Dr. George side. Sorry, Mike. Yes, sir. He's asking that is Industry 5.0 going to be used in future? Approximately, let me know the percentage of food waste that can be used as raw material.
100%. Of the food waste, I can tell you immediately. 100% can be used as a raw material. But firstly, there is one thing. It's called multi-level relationship. I didn't mention it because it's going more deeper, and this is just the introduction. Let's imagine if I enter to a factory, they have, for example, 1,000 tons per month. If you will be processing some category of the waste, you will have your own restaurants. I can guarantee you that you will not be able to consume 1,000 tons in a month. So this is why instead of one producer, one consumer, we have to establish something like that. So they are multi-level. So some will use it as a food. The other will turn it into food for animals. The third one will cut it, make from fresh food, frozen food. The next one will turn it maybe to biochar. The next one to biogas. And at the end, there will be nothing. And because there will be the fertilizer at the end. So you see, especially for food, I am sure 100% can be turned to be usable. I will ask you one question which you cannot answer right now, but I'm asking this. Maybe Prashant, you can try to to answer this for the audience. Do you know who is the role model of Industry 5.0?
No, sir, I don't have any.
It's a hard question. Some people suggest Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or the rich people. No, there is only one role model, nature. Because nature does not waste. If you are not sure about your processing, go into the next forest, go in the nature and look how it works. So this is why I'm so sure about the food waste.
Yes, sir. There is another question from SEMS India side, that how do you think about growing on food in our garden? Will it help to cut processing type of waste?
Yes. This is one I grow here, and the answer is yes. The question is growing a lot of food immediately or trees can damage the planet at the same time if you do not correctly. So again, let's use the technology which is existing. If you would like to grow your own food a little bit more, for example, than you consume, you can use hydroponic or aquaponic. You put a LED light, it grows faster. I tested the technology here as well. It is really interesting. And what is even more interesting, you grow it faster. That's one thing. And it tastes the same, even better. The second point is you consume much less water. And right now, for example, speaking about India with 47, 50 degrees Celsius, the water scarcity will be reality every single day. So we have to reduce the water consumption. And aquaponic and hydroponic are the ways how to do it. But the answer, grow your food, yes, but try to do it even a sustainable way. So do not grow too much. If you will not eat it and you cannot sell it, it will become waste. It's not good. If it become waste, turn it into fertilizer and use it again for grow the food. That's a good way. But try to avoid the mistake, like having the challenge that I will grow more than the others, because probably at the end you will find out that it's waste. And this is not the way how you would like it. And the water, it's needed for everyone, including us. So be careful about it.
Guys, if anyone having any question, you can, because it's such an informative session.
And all of these has been really nice questions. So thank you for those, because I do really enjoy it. So
with this, we come to our end of the webinar. I would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Rada. It was truly an informative session indeed. Also, thanks our lovely audience who made their presence today, and do tag us when you receive your certificate with hashtag Digisaksham.